Rishus Mardastra, we're continuing our share in Dishu Bahalacha. We're starting today on Kuf Tzadik Zayin Amid Beis in Siman Shin Mem Hey. We're up to Sif Yud in the Mechaber. Before we begin, just a couple of words on Pirkei Avos. Just wanted to mention that yesterday we were discussing the Mishnah, the end of the Mishnah of Hillel, where Hillel said that Aaron HaKohen, having mitamid of Shal Aaron HaKohen, a person should strive to be a Talmud of Aaron HaKohen. And we said that he was Oyhev Esabriyos, he loved the Briyos of a Karvan L'Torah. So just another thought on those words that I think is important is that you see from what the Rishonim say on Aaron HaKohen, they say that his method was he would go over to somebody who he saw was slacking off a little bit in the Ruchnius department, and he would go be Makar of him, he would be his friend. And by being friendly with that fellow, what that would cause is the guy would say, if Aaron HaKohen would know what I really am, Aaron HaKohen doesn't know the real me. Aaron HaKohen, doesn't know the bad things that I do. If he would know, he wouldn't want to be friends with me. How could I carry on like this if Aaron HaKohen is being a chaver to me? And that would cause him to go and do tshuva. I think we learn an important lesson from this, and it's especially a lesson that's very, very important with children. And that is that the tendency very often is that when we see somebody who's doing something shaloi keshura, we want to jump all over them. And we want to yell at them. And we want to give them techacha. And we want to give them a hard time. And especially, that's the tendency when it comes to children. You yell at the kid. You're doing something wrong. You go right away, yell at the kid. And yet, what we see from Aaron HaKohen is that what's effective is exactly the opposite. What's far more effective is to go ahead and give an extra degree of love. When you go ahead and you're makarev, Aaron HaKohen could have used his, so to speak, bully pulpit. He could have turned around and he could have used it to go ahead and castigate people that are doing things that he thinks are wrong. And that's not what he did. He looked away from the things that they were doing that were wrong, and he went to be makarev them, he went to be friendly with them. And the truth is that we find that that's what works better with children also. And that is that the more love you give them, and the more acceptance you give them, and the happier you make them, even sometimes you have to look away from the things that they do that are shaloi keshura. You look away from it. And instead of going ahead and castigating them and yelling at them, you go ahead and you makarev them more and more and more and more. And that makes them happy. And when they're happy and when they feel good about themselves, suddenly it's a lot easier for them to do the things that are right. Sometimes it's counterintuitive. It's not what our knee-jerk reaction is to do. And the truth is, it's in many ways it's harder, because it's hard to look away. Especially when the kid is doing something that is not right. So you are, but no, sometimes you just to look away, and you have to go and adarava, ignore it, look away from it, be makarev them more and more and more and more. And the truth is that makes them want to do the right thing, because they want you to be happy with them. So it makes them go ahead and want to do the right thing. Okay, so now we go into halacha, or Kuf Tzadik Zayin Amid Beis. We're up to Sif Yud. We're continuing to discuss the properties that make up a Rishus Harabim. So says the Mechaber in Sif Yud, Kol davar shehu b'Rishus Harabim, anything that is located on the karka, on the ground of Rishus Harabim. Im eina gavaya shloisha tvachim, if it's not 3 tvachim tall off the ground, you have something sitting on the ground, and it's not 3 tvachim tall, so let's say it's about a foot, it's about less than a foot. Let's say this is 9 inches tall, 8 inches tall. Afilu heim kaitzim aitzaya, even if we're talking about a pile of brambles, a pile of thorns, aitzaya, or we're talking about excrement. She'ein rabim dorsim aleim. The point is, this is not something that people are going to walk on. Everybody's trying to avoid it. They don't want to step on it. Still, chashuvim kekarka, it is considered like the ground that it's sitting on. Teheve rishus harabim. And that surface, the surface of that pile, has a din of rishus harabim. Since it's not 3 tvachim tall, it's bottled to the rishus harabim, even if people aren't going to walk on it. Let's see the Chavetz Chaim in Eis Katan Chav Ches, Mishnah Berurah. Afilu heim kaitzim, even if they're thorns. The chol pachos mishloisha, because anything that's less than 3 tvachim off the ground, kaimalon de'enai chalekes rishus la'atzma. It's not possible for it to be declared its own independent rishus. If it's less than 3 tvachim tall, it's just bottled to the earth, to the surface of the rishus harabim, or bottled gabi rishus harabim. Says the Mechaber Vayter on the bottom line, V'imu gavay ashloisha, let's say this pile, this mound of stuff, is more than 3 tvachim tall, so it's 12 inches or more tall. Umishloisha ad tisha, from 3 tvachim until a height of 9 tvachim, v'loy tisha b'chlal, not including 9. So we're discussing now a mound of stuff in the Rishus HaRabim that's from 3 tvachim until precisely 9 tvachim. Actually 8.9 tvachim, but not 9 tvachim. So from 3 to just under 9. So then it depends. Im hu rachav al arba al arba, if the surface of this mound is 4 tvachim by 4 tvachim, so then the surface is a makom chashuv, because it's dalet al dalet. So then, heavy karmelis. Now the Chachamim are going to declare this to be a Rishus D'Rabbanan. It's going to be a karmelis. Now, it can't be a Rishus HaYachid, because Rishus HaYachid only is going to be starting at 10 tvachim tall. And this is only, over here, 3 to 9 tvachim tall. So it's not a Rishus HaYachid. But the Chachamim, since it's over 3 tvachim, so it's not bottled to the Rishus HaRabim anymore, and it's not yet 10 tvachim, so it's not a Rishus HaYachid, but since the surface is a makom chashuv because it's daled al daled, the Chachamim make it a karmelis. Since it's a karmelis, you can't move anything from the Rishus HaRabim onto this surface. That would be Haitzad Rabbanon, not from Rishus HaRabim, not from Rishus HaYachid. And to take something off it into the Rishus HaRabim also would be a problem D'Rabbanan, because this is a Rishus D'Rabbanan. V'im einoi rachav al arba al arba, if the surface of this mound is not 4 by 4, so the surface is not a makom chashuv, heavy makom p'tur. So then this is a makom p'tur. It's not anything. It's not Rishus HaRabim, because it's not bottled to the Rishus HaRabim. It's not Rishus HaYachid. It's not tall enough to be a Rishus HaYachid. It's not a Rishus D'Rabbanan, because it doesn't have a surface area that's chashuv. So what is it? Nothing. It's a makom p'tur. It's an exempt area. You want to take something from it into the Rishus HaRabim, you can. You want to put something from the Rishus HaRabim onto it, you can. Let's stop here for a second and let's go into the Mishnah Berurah. Says the Mishnah Berurah on Kuf Tzadik Zayin Amud Beis Ois Kat L'Chav Tes, V'imu gavay ashloisha, if this mound is 3 tvachim high, da'az ein rabim yechaylim lidrais alav mitzad gavay. So now the Bnei Rishus HaRabim are not going to walk on it because it's a little too tall to step on. If you imagine something 9 inches, a 9-inch mound of stuff in the middle of the Rishus HaRabim is an obstacle that you walk around. It's not something that you step on. So the Rabbim is not just going to walk on it, and therefore nafka miklal Rishus HaRabim. We're no longer going to say that it's bottled to the Rishus HaRabim and it's the Rishus HaRabim, because the Rabbim is going to avoid it. They're not going to walk on it. V'lechlal Rishus HaYachid loiba, but it's not tall enough to be a Rishus HaYachid ad gavay asar tvachim. Until asar tvachim, we can't make it a Rishus HaYachid. So it's not a Rishus HaRabim because the Rabbim doesn't walk on it. It's not a Rishus HaYachid because it's not tall enough. And so therefore, v'nasdu alei chachamim shem karmelis, therefore, if the surface is daled al daled, so it's a makom chashuv, then the chachamim called it a karmelis. Shehu rishus la'atzmai, which is its own independent rishus d'Rabbanan. V'aseh l'hoitzi mimenu rishus hayachid, so you would not be allowed to take something off of this mound and bring it into the rishus hayachid, or the rishus harabim, or into the rishus harabim, because midin d'Rabbanan it is an independent rishus, and you're not allowed to transfer anything from it to a rishus hayachid or to a rishus harabim, or from a rishus hayachid or a rishus harabim to it. Ois Kat Lamed, V'im einoi rachav al arba al arba, if the surface of this mound that's between 3 tvachim and 9 tvachim tall, if the surface is not daled al daled, so the surface is not a makom chashuv, points out the Chavetz Chaim, va'afilu im arka yoiser me'arba tvachim. We're not working with square inches here. Even if this is a rectangular mound and the surface is a lot more than 4 tvachim long, maybe it's 18 tvachim long. So if you're going to start calculating square inches, 4 by 4 is only 16 square tvachim. Over here you can have 20 by 2. It would be 40 square. But it doesn't matter, because we're not interested in square tvachim. We don't take the extra length and combine it with the width. It cannot qualify as its own independent rishus. It has to have a minimum of 4 tvachim in the length and 4 tvachim in the width. Otherwise, it's not considered a chush of a surface, and it can't be its own rishus. So if it's not arba al arba, and it's 3 to 9, so then it's going to be a makom p'tur. Now, this was the din for a mound that's between 3 and right under 9. So what did we say so far? We said up until 3 tvachim is batal to the Rishus HaRabim. That's the Rishus HaRabim. 3 to 9 depends. If the surface is 4 by 4, it's a karmelis. If the surface is less than 4 by 4, it's a makom p'tur. Now, what happens if it's precisely 9 tvachim? Precisely 9 tvachim gets its own din. Says the Mechaber in the second line, V'emu gavaya tisha tvachim mitzumtzamim. How about if the height of this amud, or this mound, whatever it is precisely 9 tvachim? V'rabim mikatfim alav. And the Rabim uses this surface, mekatvim means to rest their load on. The shorish of the word mekatvim is kasef, the shoulder. By kasef yisa'u, they would carry the kalim on their shoulders. So the shorish is kasef. Rabim mekatvim alav means you're carrying a box in the Rishus HaRabim, you need to take a break for a minute, so you rest your load on this very convenient surface. So this is something that's used by the Rabbim. So says the Mechaber, this is going to be a machlokes. Says the Mechaber over here in the Dei Rishona in the first opinion, if this surface is exactly 9 tvachim high, and the Rabbim uses it to rest their load on, then the top surface of this mound or pillar or whatever it is a Rishus HaRabim, afilu einoi rachav arba, even if the surface is not daled al daled. So here we have a very big chiddush. Normally we say that the surface area has to be a minimum of daled al daled in order to be a makom chashuv and to constitute its own rishus. Over here in this daya, we're saying no. We're saying that since the Rabbim has a use for this pillar, since the Rabbim uses it to be mekatef alav, to rest their load, it becomes a Rishus HaRabim at precisely 9. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Eis Katan Lamed Aleph. So let's see the Mishnah Berurah, and let's see if you still have your question. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Eis Katan Lamed Aleph, Tisha Tvachim. If this pillar is precisely 9 Tvachim tall, the Beshir Zeh, because at this measurement, Derech b'nei Adam b'Rishus HaRabim lekatef alav. It is the derech of the people that are carrying packages in the Rishus HaRabim to make use of such a surface to rest their load on. De'enai loy gavaya v'loy namuch. Because at 9 tfachim, it's not too high, it's not too tall. If you figure that a tefach is about 4 inches, so 9 times 4 is 36. So you have 3 feet, you have a 3-foot tall platform. A 3-foot tall platform is very convenient to rest your load on. So it's the derech of the Bnei Rishus HaRabim to use it. Aval b'pachas mitisha, But if it's less than 9, she'enoi royal lekate falav, so really it's too low. And less than 9, it's not considered a convenient height to use to rest your load on. Loi mahani l'shavye rishus harabim, such a pillar would not be a rishus harabim, afilu im rabim mekatfim alav. So less than 9 tvachim, even if the Rabbim does make use of it, because it happens to be that that's the only thing located in that area to use to rest their load on, so you might think, okay, it's the derech of the Rabbim to use it, so maybe now it becomes a Rishus HaRabbim. Says the Chavetz Chaim, no. If mitzad atzmai, if in of itself, its size is not the right size to be a pillar that the Rabbim uses, that the Rabbim is mekatfim alav, then you can't make it a Rishus HaRabbim, even if the Rabbim does in fact use it. There are 2 ingredients that you need. You need that mitzad atzmai, it has to be the right height. So it has to be that 9 tefach height, so it's the right height, and it has to be Rabbim mekatfim alav. We're going to see that even if it's the right height, if it's 9 tefachim tall, but for some reason the Rabbim doesn't use it, now there could be different reasons. Maybe the Rabbim doesn't use it because it's located in a bad place. Maybe it's too close to the wall, and you can't conveniently rest your load. It's too close to the wall, and the load can't rest on it. It just falls off. Maybe it's off the beaten path. Maybe it's next to a water fountain and everybody gets in the way. I don't know why. But if for whatever reason, if it's 9 tefachim tall and the Rabbim does not use it, it's also not a Rishus HaRabbim. It's only a Rishus HaRabbim if it's the right height and the Rabbim uses it. Then, since it's the derech b'nei Adam to use it, it becomes part of the Rishus HaRabbim. Wanted to ask something? No, so apparently, something that's located in the Rishus HaRabbim that the Rabbim makes use of. See, the whole concept is like this. The area that we're talking about.
Earlier, we said the conversation that has to, what constitutes a Rishus HaRabbim? It has to be a place where the Rabbim are darsing, where they're actually walking. So, just because they're placing their items on the pillar, so that pillar, you're right, it's serving the purpose of the Rabbim.
So I think the way you have to look at it is like this. We have an area that is a Rishus HaRabbim. It is. It's 16 amos wide. The Rabbim uses it. This area is a Rishus HaRabbim. So now, we're talking about things that are located in the Rishus HaRabbim. So what do we say? We said it's 3 tvachim off the ground. Well, then the Rabbim walks right over it. So it's bottled to the Rishus HaRabbim. It's more than 3 tvachim. Oh, wait a second. Now the Rabbim doesn't use it. The Rabbim doesn't walk on it. If the Rabbim doesn't walk on it, it's nafki miklal Rishus HaRabbim. We can't call it Rishus HaRabbim anymore. Now we're saying, wait a second, it's 9 tvachim, so what is it? It's not a Rishus HaYachid, because it's not tall enough, right? To say it's bottled to the Rishus HaRabbim, we can't say it's bottled to the Rishus HaRabbim, it's too tall. Oh, but wait a second, Rabbim mekatfim alav, so then the Rabbim does use it. If the Rabbim uses it, it's a Rishus HaRabbim. Well, you see, what you have to focus on is how are you going to remove it from the Rishus HaRabbim? But what are you going to call it to remove it from the Rishus HaRabbim? You would have to call it a Makom P'tur. That's the only thing you could call it.
Any other place, at least, let's see, if it's like less than 3 tvachim, at least it's where people walk.
Yeah, but they're using it. They're not using it to walk on, but they're using it to put their load on.
It's part of the ground. It's bottled to the ground.
It's too tall. It can't be bottled to the ground.
Here, you don't have that, right?
So what are you going to make it? No, it's not a Rishus La'atzma. It's not Dalad Dalad. Can't be a Carmelist. The only thing you can make it is a Makom P'tur. That's the only thing you can make it is a Makom P'tur. And a Makom P'tur, we're not going to make it because the Rabbim uses it. So if the Rabbim uses it, by what virtue are we going to take it out of the Rishus HaRabbim? That's the word, I think. We can't take it out of the Rishus HaRabbim because the Rishus HaRabbim uses it. They use it. So we can't take it out. I think from reading between the lines in the Mishnah Berurah, I think that's the word.
So you're saying that if it's not, and they don't use it, then it's what?
Because they don't use it, Makom P'tur. Makom P'tur. They don't use it, it's a Makom P'tur. What? If it's
less than 9
Makom P'tur. Less than 9 is a Makom P'tur. Because again, it's not a Rishus HaRabbim because it's too tall. It's not a Rishus HaYachid, it's not tall enough. It's not a Carmelist because it's not Dalad Dalad. So it's a Makom P'tur. So, first of all, I think that, I'm not sure if the Gemara says this or not, it's not the derech to sit in Rosh Hashanah. It's not the derech to just stop in the middle of Rosh Hashanah and sit down. What are you doing? Get out of here. What? Yeah, if it's a chair, it's a chair, but it's not a chair. Okay. Aiskat Lamed Beis. Mitzum Tzamim. This whole discussion is if it's precisely 9 tvachim, according to this day of Rishona. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Aval Yoiser Mitisha, but if it's more than 9 tvachim tall, if it's 9.2, Loi Hever Rishos Harabim. Then it's not a Rishos Harabim, Afilu Rochav Arba al Arba. Even if it's 4x4, it's not going to be Rishos Harabim. Because over 9, according to the day of Rishona, is too tall for Rabbi Mekatvim alav. That height is not a convenient height. The Chacham decided that over 9 tvachim, this person is a little bit taller. So maybe for him, the extra height is good. So the Chachamim made a shear. The Chachamim said 9 tvachim is a shear for Rabbi Mekatvim alav. 9.2 is not. So what's going to be the din of 9.2? So the din of 9.2 is going to be, if it's Arba al Arba, it's a Carmelist. If it's less than Arba al Arba, it's a Makom B'Tor. So, Verabim,
Does that make logical sense when you think about it?
this I'll tell you. When I said Daf Yomi on Erevin, so I told the Olam then, and I think I said it here once in another context, one of the reasons Erevin is one of the hardest Masechtas in Shas is because Erevin is full of D'Rabbanans. It's full of D'Rabbanans. D'Rabbanans by nature are not black and white. So the famous Gemara at the beginning of Sukkah, right? The Gemara says, Sukkah shugavai me'eser ma'ama psula. A sukkah that's more than 20 amas tall is puzzle, right? Frek the Gemara says, I don't understand. By Sukkah, it says, Sukkah shugavai me'eser ma'ama psula. It's puzzle. By Erevin, it says, Mavli shugavai me'eser ma'ama, a mavli, that's where the opening is more than 20 amas tall. What do? It says you make a kaira. You put up a kaira. It doesn't say puzzle. It tells you how to fix it. So the Gemara wants to know, so by sukkah also, why don't you tell me how to fix it instead of telling me puzzle? And for the Gemara, very simple. Because sukkah is a daraisa. And the psul of a sukkah that's kavayim eser mama is a daraisa dik psul. So the Gemara says, by a daraisa, you could say kosher and you could say puzzle. The Torah said it's puzzle, so it's puzzle. By a mavli, you can't say it's puzzle. Who made it puzzle? The Torah didn't say it's puzzle. This whole din of a mavli with a kaira and a lechi and this and that, it's all din of Rabbanan. So the Torah never said it's puzzle, so you can't say it's puzzle. So what could you say? You could say be masakin it. That's what you could say. The Rabbanans are inherently gray areas. The whole thing is a din Rabbanan. It's not a din daraisa. It's not a davar kotzev. It's a din Rabbanan. So when the Chachamim made a din, they made a geder. So they had to make a din over here. They felt that a pillar of a certain size that the Rabbi Mekatvim alav, like I told him, you can't take it out of the Rishos Harabim. By virtue of what are you removing it from the Rishos Harabim? So the Chachamim said, all right, we have to make a size. So we're going to say 9 tvachim. Why? Maybe 9.2, this guy is taller, he could use it. Maybe a short guy is going to use 8.4. But the answer is, what do you want the Chacham to do? So now the Chacham are going to have to make a wishy-washy gather. What are they going to do? They're going to make a range? So they could have said, yes, from 8 to 10. So then someone's going to come along and say, yeah, well, a kid likes 7.5 because the kid is very short. So the Chachamim have to make a gather. So they made a gather. According to the day of Rishona, the gather is 9. According to the day of Shnia, the gather is not 9. That's right. It's not 100% logical. It's they have to make a gather. So they made a gather. We find D'Rabbanans, we find very interesting D'Rabbanans where you're right. If you try to work it out logically, it doesn't make sense. In Hilchas Nida, we have dinim that you go ahead and you say, why this fabric and not that fabric? D'Rabbanan. They made the gzera over here, they didn't make the gzera over there. That's it. So where they made the gzera, they made it. Where they didn't make the gzera, they didn't make it. That's it. The underlying what's underlying the gzeira or the takana is logical. The geder is not always logical. That's the point. Okay, so we did over here Lamed Beis. Now at the Lamed Gimel. The Rabim mekatfim alav. The Rabim uses it to rest their load on it. Avo kishe'ein mekatfim alav. But if for whatever reason the Rabim does not use it, then afagav the royal lekatev alav, even though it's the right height and it could be used by the Rabim to rest their load on, but they don't. Lo hever rishus Rabim. Vafil rachav arba. Even if it's dalad al dalad, it's not Rabim mekatfim alav. They don't use it. Then it's added to rishus Rabim. Zok the mechaber weiter. No, one more. Islam dalad. Afilu ein rachav arba. Even if this pillar is not dalad al dalad, since it's 9 tfakim and Rabim mekatfim alav, it has a din of rishus Rabim. Says the Mishnah Berurah, because even though normally if the surface area is less than dalad al dalad, we can't call it a makom chashuv, and we wouldn't call it a rishus Rabim. Kan, over here in this case, the derech Rabim lekatef alav, where the Rabim does use it, factually, the Rabim does use it to rest their load on, af b'pakus me'arba, even though it's less than dalad al dalad, mashvile rishus Rabim, it's considered a rishus Rabim. That's the day of Rishona. Now go back to the Mechaber, the third line in the middle. V'yesh mi sha'omer. There is, however, another din. This is the Rosh brought down by the Tur. V'yesh mi sha'omer. Tehu adin legavaya mitishav ad asara v'rabim katvim alav. This din applies not only to precisely 9, it applies from 9 to 10. Have a rishus Rabim. If the Rabim is v'katvim alav, it gets a din of rishus Rabim. Afilu ein rachav arba, even if it's not dalad al dalad. Ais katan lamed vav. Have a rishus Rabim. However, oladina naktinon kisfar rishayna. Chavetz Chaim says that we paskin like the day of Rishayna. The harbe paiskin cholkin al zeh, because many paiskim are cholik on this day of Shnia. So we go with the day of Rishayna, that this din of Rabbi Mekatvim alav only applies to precisely 9.
What he says over here, that
Right. Right.
All he has to say is it reverts back to Rishus Harabim. It's continuous. In other words, Rishus Harabim use everything. He doesn't have to say, because it's suddenly something special or whatever it is. It reverts back to its original status because people use it.
Yeah, but this is a very unique din.
Why wasn't it good until 9? Because it's an obstacle.
Right.
It's right in the middle.
Right.
Nobody walks there. But now it's no longer an obstacle. People use it.
Right. I think
You have to say something special.
Because I think his point.
It goes back to square one.
You're right, but I think his point is that this is a very unusual case because we're declaring an area that doesn't have a surface of dalad al dalad to be a rishus, and we don't do that.
It's not a rishus. It goes back to its original status.
See, you're.
So you're not taking this spot out.
Yeah, I hear you. But the problem is that
Well, it's being used.
the problem is that you see what you're saying is exactly the way Rishus HaYachid works. That's the way Rishus HaYachid works. If it's located in the Rishus HaYachid, it's a Rishus HaYachid. And we don't make, it doesn't have a surface of dalad al dalad. It doesn't matter. It's in the Rishus HaYachid. But over here it's in Rishus Harabim.
In order to be Rishus HaYachid in the public domain, it has to be 10.
And dalad al
It
dalad.
has to be 4 by 4.
Right.
Why? Because it's an obstacle.
I hear you. I hear you, but I think that's his only point. I hear you.
You don't have to say anything special about it.
Okay. Zok the Mechaber weiter. 4th line down near the end. Ume'asaro lamayla. What happens if you have a raised area in the Rishus Harabim that's 10 tfachim or higher? So, im rachav arba, if it has a surface of dalad al dalad, have a Rishus HaYachid. So then that surface is a Rishus HaYachid. V'im lav, and if it does not have dalad al dalad, have a makom p'tur, it's a makom p'tur, no matter how tall it is. Afilu im yesh by makom, I was going to bring Lego for this, I forgot. Afilu im yesh by makom, kedei lachaik lahashlimai la'arba. This is true, and I'll touch the words literally, even if there is room to cut out an area and to create a surface of Dalet al Dalet. What does this mean? This means like this. Let's say this is Rishus Harabim. Okay, this is Rishus Harabim over here, next to this wall. This wall is in the Rishus Harabim. This over here is a raised platform in the Rishus Harabim. This raised platform in this direction is only 2 tefachim. That's all it is. It's only 2 tefachim. So let's say this this surface over here, we're talking about how big? We're talking about 10 tefachim high. We're talking about 10 tefachim high. So let's say this is 10 tefachim tall. So if the surface over here would be Dalet al Dalet, then this surface would be a Rishus HaYachid. But the problem is it's not Dalet al Dalet. Instead, let's say it's more than Dalet this way, but it's only 2 tefachim this way. Now, this wall happens to be, let's say, 20 tefachim tall. And at the top, it's 2 tefachim thick. If we would be able to combine the top surface of this 10 tefachim tall platform together with the thickness of this wall, we would have Dalet al Dalet. And if we would have Dalet al Dalet, then this surface would be a Rishus HaYachid. So, there is a svara in the Gemara that comes into play in different places in Eruvin, and it also comes into play in Hilchas Mezuzah in certain areas. There are times that the Gemara says that you look at a solid wall and you envision as if it would be cut out. So for instance, when it comes to Hilchas Mezuzah, you have an archway, right? Now we know that a door has to have a certain minimum measurement. It has to have 2 posts, and it has to have a mashkaif on top, and it has to have a certain minimum measurement in order for the doorway to be chayv mezuzah. How about an archway, if it's rounded? So sometimes we say that we look at the archway and we imagine as if it would be cut out and squared to give us the minimum size for a mezuzah. So what he's saying over here, and he's taking it from the Gemara, you might think that if you have an amud in the Rishus Harabim that's 10 tefachim tall and 2 tefachim thick at the top, and it's right next to a wall that's 2 tefachim thick, and it just happens to be a little bit taller than this amud, maybe we say lachuk lahashlim. Maybe we say that we imagine as if the wall was cut out, and the 2 tefachim thickness of the wall combines with the 2 tefach thickness of the amud to give us Dalet al Dalet and make this a Rishus HaYachid. Kamash Malan, no, we don't. That's all the Mechaber is saying over here. We don't say lachuk lahashlim, and it does not become a Rishus HaYachid.
That wall, the big one.
Yeah.
That's a wall of Rishus HaYachid?
Let's say not. It could be just a wall next to the Rishus Harabim. Let's say it doesn't make the area on the other side of Rishus HaYachid. Let's say that area next to it only has 1 mechitza. It doesn't have 4. But why? What's your point?
I was just wondering what kind of a wall it was.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's makubtur, what is it? Rishus HaYachid? It only has 2 and 2. So it can't
Right. So let's say it would be.
it's more than 10.
Let's say it would be a makubtur. It would be a makubtur. It's 15 tefachim tall, and it's 2 tefachim thick.
You're still going to have to make sure that the minimum dimensions, if hypothetically we will allow it, you have to make sure that that extra wall there would at least meet the dimensions.
Right, but it's not a gag because we don't do it anyway. Okay. Lamed. No, we did that. We did Lamed Vav. Lamed Zayin. Ois cut Lamed Zayin. Imur Rachav Arba. If this area that's 10 tefachim or more in the Rishus Harabim is Dalet al Dalet on top, Hainu Arba al Arba. The Chavetz Chaim is just pointing out that when the lashon of the Mechaber is Imhu Rachav Arba, if it's 4 wide, it doesn't say Dalet al Dalet. So the Chavetz Chaim is just saying, realize when it talks about Arba, it means Arba al Arba. Kidei lachaik, in order to cut out, Hainu, what does this mean? Kegain, for example, Shahaya ha'amud tzamach la'kaisel mamish, that this amud, this platform was right next to a wall. We don't say that we imagine as if we cut out the wall to give the amud the thickness of Dalet. And since we don't say the top surface of this amud that's not Dalet and Dalet is only a makub tur, you would be allowed to remove something from it to a Rishus HaYachid, V'la Rishus Harabim, or to a Rishus Harabim, or vice versa.
But by mezuzah, you have two reasons why that could be good. Number one, it's a Pesach, but it says we have the right to it.
Right.
Number two, you're going to be chalkik in the same item. Over here, you're going to be chalkik in a different item altogether.
Yeah, so the truth is,
So you could have said, oh, I could have bought something over here, build another wall, or something.
you're saying as far as that are not bad. You're saying as far as that are not bad, but the sugya of chayk and lahashlim is a rough sugya. No, they talk about these svaras. They talk about these chilukim. When you say chayk and lahashlim and when you do not say chayk and lahashlim, it's not simple. Okay, zak the mechaber weiter sif yud aleph. Now, so we finished talking about height. Now we're going to talk about the opposite. Now we're going to go down. We're going to talk about depth. Guma b'rishos harabim. There's a depression in the rishos harabim. If the depression is not 3 tvachim or more, have a rishos harabim. So it's karka rishos harabim. Even if the rishos harabim goes down a little bit, it's still rishos harabim. Mishalosh ad asara. If this depression is 3 tvachim deep until 10 tvachim deep, so then it depends. Im rechava arba. If the surface of the depression is dalad al dalad, heavy carmelis, then that depression inside, that depression becomes a carmelis. And if it's not a surface of dalad al dalad, then the interior of that depression would be a mokum tur. If it's a hole that's 10 tefachim deep, have a rishos hayachid. Then the inside of that hole is a rishos hayachid v'hu shetei rechava arba. If it's dalad al dalad, so you have a 10 tefachim deep pit in the rishos harabim with a surface on the bottom of dalad al dalad, so that constitutes a rishos hayachid. Zok the Mishnah Berurah is kat lamites. Eina amuka shalosh. If the depression is not 3 tefachim deep, afagav the rechava kama tefachim. Even if it's many tefachim wide by many tefachim long, it's a lot more than dalad al dalad. But if it's not 3 tefachim deep, doesn't matter. It's just a rishos harabim. Ad asara, from 3 until 10. Vafilu hayu rabim mishtamshim boy baguma. Over here, we don't have a similar svara to what we have on a pillar where we have rabim mekatvim alav. By going up, we said there's azaz svara that if it's rabim mekatvim alav, then since the bnei harabim use it, so there's a din of rishos harabim. Says the Chavetz Chaim over here where we're going down from 3 to 10, afilu hayu rabim mishtamshim boy baguma. Even if the fact is that the Rabbim does use the inside of this depression for whatever reason, that's not considered a normal usage. The pillar that's 9 tefachim tall, that's considered a normal usage. So if the Bnei Harabim use it for a normal usage, it's Rishos Harabim. But over here when we're talking about a hole, even if the Rabbim happens to use it, that does not constitute normal usage. And since it's only tashmish alidat chak, it's only a usage that's done with difficulty, the lo yishmei tashmish. The Gemara says that does not constitute tashmish, and that does not make the inside of the hole a rishos harabim. Yeah, Yankel?
Why is the Rabbi saying that kama tzvachim means many? You should have said how big tzvachim. Kama tzvachim means less than 4, a few. I don't know.
He would have to say otherwise if not.
What?
He would have to say otherwise. If there was a limit to how big it would have to be, he would have to say so. Harbe Tvachim, I hear. It's an interesting diuk, but doesn't matter. You're pointing out, you can ask the Chavetz Chaim why I wrote it that way, but it's not germane. No, you're right. It's funny usage. Okay, Mem Aleph, Amuka Asara, right? If it's 10 Tvachim deep, Va'afil, this is an interesting halacha. Va'afilu malei mayim oishar dvarim. We said if the pit is 10 tefachim deep, so then the interior, if it's dalad al dalad, is the rishos hayachid. Says the Chavetz Chaim, Va'afilu malei mayim, even if the pit is full of water, oishar dvarim, or other items, sha'adam mistakel behem, where a person could look through it, v'roya masha b'saycha mechitzais, and he could see that there's a hole here. So some poskim say, for example, if it was full of glass, but glass that you could see through, not broken pieces of glass that are opaque. Somehow it was full of clear glass. So you could see, even though it's full, but you could see the walls. You could see the mechitzos of this hole. So you could see that you have a 10 tefach deep hole that's full of stuff. Then it's still a rishus hayachid. Aval imalei peiros. But if this pit would be full of fruit or other produce, loihever rishus hayachid, then it is not a rishus hayachid. Kevon de'ena mechitzos nikaros. Since you cannot discern the walls. Even if the person whose produce this is in the hole has in mind to empty it out, still it does not get the din of rishus hayachid. And if somebody would throw something into this hole from the rishus harabim, he would be potter, but it's potter aval oser. There would be an issa d'Rabbanan. Since theoretically the peres that are in this hole can be removed on Shabbos, so the bar does not lose totally its status of rishus hayachid. Well, the Rashba, according to the Shitas Rashba, davka peres tevolim oishar davar she'asar l'taltal mevatal ha'mechitzos. The Rashba held that in order for produce to be mavatal the mechitzos of this hole, it has to be produce that's muktzah on Shabbos, so that it can't possibly be removed.
So what he's saying is, let's say you have a box that fits perfectly
Into this hole.
It's a solid box, but it's made out of clear glass or whatever it is. Then it's still a rishus hayachid.
It's still a rishus hayachid.
Because you can see the mechitzos.
Because you can see the mechitzos.
Right?
Yeah.
And why does he have to say over here also again with the wording? It's a little shver. It says,
why does he say Shabbasoich? Why does he say Shabbasoich? It bothered me also. It bothered me also. This bothered me. I don't have a good answer. Okay. Zok the Mishnah Berurah weiter. It's only rishus hayachid if it's daled al daled, shetei rechava arba, im lav, if it's not 4x4, have a makom tur. Va'afilu amuka esra mama, even if it's 20 amas deep. If you don't have daled al daled, then it is a makom tur. And we're going to stop here, so we have to remember that we're up to Sif Yud Beis, not Sif Yud Gimel. The end of today's issue was really Yud Gimel, but okay, I'll make a line here. All right, everyone should have a wonderful Shabbos. May Hashem see you next week.